Tonight is tonight is a major daf again, but it's long, so we gotta get going with it. First part's a little more difficult. The second part is much more gishmak. If anybody saw the halacha text, that's what it was about. Also, we got to the two dots, right? So Nakdimun Ben Gurion, right? So we were discussing Nakdimun Ben Gurion. Yeah, we should have mentioned yesterday. There's a couple of things because it was late yesterday. There's a couple of things. Nakdimun Ben Gurion, it's an unbelievable thing, and the Mefarshim all ask it. But Nakdimun Ben Gurion was from the tzaddikim of the dar, right? And he still got punished because he didn't give tzedaka. That whole story in the in Tainus is the last parak in Tainus where they held up the son, right? They made it. He had a whole deal. He lent money to the Roman, etc., etc. Right? So, what do you call it? So the son came back out. Whatever it was. I mean, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry does the son come back out for them. Right? So what's a pshat here that he got punished and lost all his money because he didn't give the tzedaka properly? Okay, it's a big kasha. It's a big kasha. They say from the it's actually an interesting thing. The Rabbi Chanan Wasserman is in the Kovitz Shiurim, even though it's not written by him, but they actually quoting the Chafetz Chaim, saying that the reason why this is all by the Churban Beis Hamikdash. So by the Churban Beis Hamikdash, when the going is rough, so everybody gets judged much harsher than they normally would get judged. So he got judged harsher than he normally should have. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Weiter. So Amar with two dots around 10 lines down. So Amar of Shemen bar Abba. It's an interesting name. Amar of Shemen bar Abba. Amar of Yochanan. So again, just Atzak. So yesterday we said in the Mishna that there's different things that the Kala brings into the chuppah, so how it gets evaluated. So cash, if she brings in cash, then when he pays it back, when he dies or he divorces her, he has to pay back 50% more. Well, it's really a third more, but the way we calculate it, it comes out for every 1,000 she brings in, he gives back 1,500. But if it's other items, then depending what it is, it gets evaluated for less. So what about gold? Let's say she comes in with gold. So we're going to see it's obviously going to depend on what type of gold. So if she brings in gold for the husband, how do you evaluate gold? Is it currency, or is it like utensils? So so you evaluate it, and it goes according to the actual worth. We don't add on 50% to it because we don't look at it like money. And we don't look at it like regular items because gold doesn't have wear and tear. So it doesn't get worn down, so it's going to be worth the exact same. So Meisei said, yes, the kasha hazov harehi kikelim. Zov is like kelim. My love, kikelim shel kesef depachsi. It says that gold is like kelim. So what kind of kelim? Must be like silver, depachsi, which means that it goes down. Meaning how do you call it? Depreciates, right? So we say loy bekalim shalzav, the loy pavsi. It's kalim shalzav that don't depreciate. So I'm going to ask imkaim kikalim ibayle. It shouldn't say kikalim. It should be kalav, right? If she brings in gold, we evaluate the gold the same way we evaluate the kalim. By Tani, we learned another braysa. Zav harehu kikalim. Gold is like kalim. Din rezav harein kiksafim, but din rezav, gold dinars, those are coins, gold coins. That's like kesef. So what is that? So and that's a Tanakama, meaning the Tanakama is differentiating between what type of gold it is. In a place where they don't the parta means they don't give change. Right, then you evaluate it, and it's equal. So we have this Machlokes, which is a little unclear exactly what it is. Hey, which case of Shimon Gamliel? Ilema seifa. If it's going on the seifa, Michlal the Tanakama Savra Afilu Magma Shenagu Shaloi Leparta. Right. it's mechlal that the Tana Kama says that even if it's a makom shanav, which that even if it's a place where they don't exchange it, haloi nafki, right? So meaning if it's in a place that they don't use gold as currency, so then haloi nafki, then then it's not going to be used as currency. So how could you say that it has a din of money if they don't use it? Meaning, is it jewelry, which you don't use as money, or is it gold coins? My mashal to try and understand this, tell me if I'm wrong, is you could have coins, right, that are officially a silver dollar, right? Most silver dollars are worth a lot more than a dollar, right? And you can have nickels that if you went into the store, you can buy a piece of gum with that nickel, and then you find out, oh, that nickel is worth hundreds of dollars, right? Because it's a collector's item, because it's very rare. So this gold that she's bringing into the chasa, to the chuppah, to the husband, is that gold used as currency, in which case he would have to pay back 500 more, or is it looked at like it's gold that doesn't lose value and nothing? So that's the shaila. Elulav, a reisha. So it must be that Rav Shimon Gamliel is disagreeing with the reisha. V'achikamar, zav areu kakelim. Zav is like kalim. My kalim. So what kalim? Kalim shel kesef. It must be kalim of kesef. That's what the Tana Kama is saying. And therefore, if it's kalim of silver, then the guy does get his 20% deduction. It's considered like gold coins in a makom that you don't normally split it up. Whatever it is, that Rabbi Yochanan said, well, before that, really, the Tana Kama holds that gold is like silver utensils, in which case you get to subtract a fifth when the husband has to pay it back. So that means that, and Rabbi Yochanan, who said that gold gets its actual value, is a kasha from the Rabbanan. So when it says loy lama seifa, so really is going on the seifa. That gold is like money. With the nafki al yidei atchak, and we're talking about where normally nobody uses this gold as currency. But sometimes, if they're desperate, they will use it as currency. Ubaha, again, this is the Machlokes. Marsa, or keeping the nafki since it went out, we since it will be used as currency sometimes, so therefore we're gonna mishabeach it. We're gonna lift up the price, and they'll have to pay back 1,500 for every 1,000. Since really we don't use this gold as currency, only if they're really desperate. So we don't raise the price. So that's a Machlokes of Shem Gamliel and the Rabbanan. Iba is saying Makul Rav Shem Gamliel, or he could also say it's Rav Shem Gamliel. And it's something missing, and this is what we're learning. Zav harehu kakelim. Gold is like kalim. Dinrei zav harehin keksafim. Right, so this is again we're explaining the braysa. We're adding in words. So regular gold is like utensils, which means you subtract a fifth when he has to pay it back. Dinrei zav is like kesef. But that's only in a place where they use it as money. But if it's in a town where they never use the gold as to change money, we evaluate it, and then they go with whatever they're worth, because it's not considered gold, it's not considered cash, and it's not considered utensils. Right? If it's a place that they don't use it as currency, so then it gets you just calculate the gold the way it is. Okay, but the Gemara says, we had to ask a technical question, a dicta question. It said kikelim. Shouldn't be kikelim, it should be kikelim, like it's kelim. So kasha, it's a kasha. Fine. Or we could say we're talking about pieces of gold, not chunks of gold, pieces of gold, which is when those that get handled, they're like silver coins that will wear down. So there is a wear and tear. Talking about gold dust, right? Which means that's also going to get lost, right? Gold pieces of dust are going to get lost, especially if you put it on a sandwich or something, right? Like they had for a while ago, right? So you can lose these gold dust things. So therefore, there is you have to adjust the price for that. Fine. Okay, so Amar Rav Yanai, bisamim, shel antuchi harei hein kiksafim. So in antuchi, which was antiochus, yeah. So basically, they would do business using psamim, right? Sort of like how do you say it? Food stamps in that town became the currency, right? The state lost $4 million worth of food stamps because it just went around from person to person in a town that shall not be named, right? So certain towns would take psamim, and that would become the currency. I'll pay you psamim for my plumbing, and then that's if that's the currency, then it gets treated like kesef, and therefore, if she brings in psamim to the wedding, so he's gonna have to pay back 50% more. Camels in Arvia, Isha Goiba, Parna mehem, a woman can collect. Parna is a lotion of like cash, right? So she'll make a 50% profit because I guess they traded in Arvia, they traded camels. Amara Papi, Hani Tusve de Bei Masi, right? So this clothing that's in Bei Masi, Isha Goiba, Parna mehem, the same thing, because they use it as a currency, so she'll get a 50% profit. Amara Papi, Hani Saki de Radya, Ashli de Kamchunya, sacks in radya and strings or ropes in kamchunya, again, isha goiva parna, man, a woman can collect 50% profit on them because they use it as currency. Amar Rava, so Rava's a mireish. Excuse me. Amar Rava mireish havamina. I thought hani arnaki the mechuza. So these money bags of mechuza, isha goiva parna mehem, a woman can use that also, like a bag of cash. So that's considered like cash. My timer, because they're saimach on those bags of cash, right? Because what they do is they're going to take that cash and then they're going to go buy land, right? It's what Rashi says, that they collect from a talpulin and instead of karkois, because they're businessmen. Meaning, so they normally land is the most, how do you say it? What's the lashon? Normally to collect land is the most, what's the lashon? Safest is a word for that, right? Normally to collect land, it's whatever.
Secure.
Very good, thank you. Secure. That's the most secure. But when they had these bags of money, so even though it's metaltalin, but a mechuzah, they were almost treated like land, because that's people were businessmen. So they basically always had cash. They always had cash laying around. Given the chazoi, the shaklu v'nafki, but once I saw that they took their money for the ksuba and they went out, and then what's the first thing they do? They find land and they go buy land with it. So then that means that they're not treating the money as metaltalin. Amina asmachtayo arahu, they're being saimach on land, right?
So Yaakov,
yeah,
I didn't understand what you were talking about. That why would the government lose money on the food stamps? I didn't understand what you were saying.
No, meaning it became a currency. Normally, the way it's supposed to work.
The guy came over with the plumber, the Heimische plumbers. He says, "Can I pay you in food stamps?" He said,
right.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Heimische plumber went, and then he had the repair guy fix his thing. Can I give you food stamps? Repair guy went to the cheder and said, "I'm paying you in food stamps." The government realized they're missing a couple of $1 million in circulation of these food stamps, the serial numbers, and it just went around and around and around.
Meaning, normally the grocery store is supposed to get the food stamps and give it back to the government, but it just disappeared. Whatever. It's just that's just a mushal here. So, anyways, so Rava was saying in the beginning.
Didn't you have a story with a check from Williamsburg that went around for a few years?
Okay. I didn't understand why the government was missing the money.
So same thing, right? Checks become currency.
It's Yaakov. I had a few stories like that in Monroe when I was auditing the schools over there. We used to ask them for checks, and they would come back to us and say, "We don't have it anymore."
Yeah, because they give it out.
Their tuition contributions were recirculated.
Yeah.
Can I
But
ask,
anyways.
does someone have an art scroll there? How does the art scroll type Chani Tusfi Debe Maxi? 4 lines up from the Mishnah. Just an
Rashi
interesting
says
Rashi
shirts.
on that. What?
Rashi, they translated the shirt. Rashi just says simla. It's like
A similar.
Similar as a piece of clothing. I'm just wondering. He says Shalaisa Makkah. That's a little strange. Tusvi means under. Taisiv means lower.
I don't know where you're going with
is a
this,
place that's
Gershon.
covered.
No, Rashi's just saying Beimafs is the name of a place.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Rashi
hear
doesn't say
you.
that about any of the other ones.
Right.
I would say Pashup Shat in Rashi is he's saying it's underwear.
That's not how our school translates it.
That's why I was asking.
I hear your aura, Gershon. I hear it. Well, if art scroll had a choice between touching it as underwear and shirts, they're definitely going with shirts, right? So that's not. Anyways, okay.
You're
so
saying they're not going to translate it correctly to be politically correct?
I don't know. I'm not saying anything. Okay. Okay. So that's the hard part of the daf. Fine. The Zog the Mishna. Hamasi is bita stam. Let's say you stam marry off your daughter, and you didn't say any sort of amount to how much you're supporting. You can't give her less than 50 zuz, right? Which we're going to see in the Gemara, right? Then again, we said that you have to give epis something so that people want to marry her. You come in and you say you're giving nothing, so then it's hard to marry her off. Right? So Rashi says, where is it? Where's the Rashi? Is that Rashi here? Where is the Rashi? I thought it was in this Mishna. Maybe it's the next Mishna. Okay, we'll see. Whatever. So Hamasi, I think it's the next Mishna. Hamasi is bita stam leyuchas lam chamishim zuz.
Why is there I don't understand. Why is there a minimum to give a dowry?
Because you have to treat the girl like normal.
A dowry was a must, or dowry was just to help get her married?
Well, it's what are you saying? That they should lie and say, "Oh, I'm promising."
No, meaning is a dowry. I'm just trying to understand what a dowry was. A dowry say I'm supporting.
Yet, Reb says.
No, he's asking, was it a requirement or was just
first? Some of us didn't do the top yet.
Hold on a second.
We're not even through the top. We're already asking questions. Let's do the Mishnah first, and then we can ask.
Okay, good. We'll finish the Mishnah. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so Amasi is Pita Stam. So if he marries off his daughter Stam, is nothing less than 50 zuz. Pasak la'achnisa aruma. Let's say he decided that, also interesting choice of words from the Mishnah, right? If he the way Art Scroll teaches it also, right? Or how they teach this, right? So Pasak la'achnisa aruma, if he paskins that she should bring her in, I mean, the real way is naked, meaning without any clothing. Right, so it doesn't mean Aruma naked. Just, I mean, it does. I mean, because the father's not buying anything for his daughter. So Lo Yomer Habal, the Baal can't say when I bring her into my house, then I'm gonna pay for her clothing. He has to cover it up even when she's in her father's house. And somebody who marries off a Yisayma, he shouldn't pay less than 50 zuz. But if there's money in the wallet, then you have to give her lefi chodesh. So meaning normally in Yisayma you also give 50 zuz. That's the minimum, right? But if there's more, then you mefarnes him. So Zeb, so what are you saying? You're saying that where is the makar that you have to give the 50 zuz?
Yeah, I'm saying where's the minimum anyway that you have to give? If you let's say your guy's willing to marry her. She's willing to marry Rabbi Kiva, right? He had nothing.
Right.
Let's say she's willing to get married. Let's say a girl wants to get married. She's willing to get married without a dowry. So I'm saying, where's the minimum coming from? Is there a makar in the Torah?
We had it a few blot ago, didn't we? We had it a bunch of blot ago that there's that you have to give epis, right? Didn't we say that?
I thought we said we didn't want to minimize it to nothing.
No, we said before you don't want to make her hamster.
No, but we said
they bring down the Rambam. They bring down a Rambam that says that this Indian comes from the idea that she needs a year's worth of clothing. Meaning we always so that is the shear of 50 zuz. That's where it comes from, the shear of 50 zuz.
We said in the good, right?
It's obviously not the braysa we're talking about.
No, it's not a
she could have
braysa.
clothing. That's all.
So why is there a minimum? I'm asking.
The sheer minimum is based on the way the Ram is lining up. The sheer minimum is based on the clothing she needs for a year, which is what we said earlier.
So why is that the minimum?
Because she needs clothing to enter into marriage. Why
does it have to be a year's worth of clothing?
She's getting. I don't understand. Because she needs clothing when she enters into the marriage.
Why? She needs besides clothing, she needs shoes and she needs.
So Zev, you wanted to have clothing for 2 weeks.
The Mishna, what's that? The Mishnah
clothing when she gets married. I don't understand. It's like
the Mishnah Mem Daled on the base says that part of the things that the husband has to give her is 50 zuz of clothing. There's a whole list of things there. You look back a few blocks.
Yeah, I got it.
So right, so the father, I guess, is responsible to give that first. If the father doesn't give it, then the husband has to give it.
And if it's a Yasoma, and if it's an orphan?
Yasoma, then the Bezdin, whoever's in charge, has to make sure she has it. And then the last word in the Mishna is that if they could afford it, then they have to give her more than 50. 50 is a minimum.
Okay.
We have to see in tomorrow's Daf Hashem, it maybe gets clearer or maybe gets less clear. I don't know, but it's yeah. So we'll see. But let's see. So Chamishim Zuzi. This is almost a repeat of the Gemara we had a couple of blot ago, because Chamishim Zuz is a whole lot of money, right? So that's a lot of money for once a year. What did we say it came out to? I don't know how many.
5,000, I think. No?
Something like that.
It's a quarter. What is it? It's a quarter of a ksuba.
Quarter of a ksuba, right? Quarter of a ksuba. Because a ksuba is 200 zuz, so this is 50 zuz, a lot of money for 1 year of clothing. So by chamishim zuzi pshiti. So we say it's not the zuzim it's pshiti, which is suri. No, that suri.
Common.
Right. So there's kesef tsuri and
not
there's
Tyrian, not Tyrian.
Right. So I don't know what's Tyrian? That's Turi.
Turi, yeah.
That's Turi. Right. So this is saying that it's Mois Zuzim of the Medina, not of Tsuri. And which is worth, Rashi says it's worth 1/8. Midigotani say from Yesh Bekis Mefarnes and Oisel Lefich Vaida, that if the kiss for the Yisaima has 200, it has more money, then you give her Lefich Vaida. I'm reading on my kiss. What does it mean, the wallet? Amarachava Arne Pishal Tzedaka. It's the wallet of tzedaka. And if you say that it means real 50 zuz, if there's money in the wallet, how much are you going to give? Right? That's a crazy amount. We're saying that if you could afford it, you can give more than 50 zuz. That's a lot of money. So it can't be that it's talking about like that. It's 50 zuz that are pshiti. Right, so it doesn't mean the larger denomination of zuz. I'm not sure that's the right word or not. Fine. Tarabana, another repeat of a Gemara we had. Yosem v'Yisayim shabolas parnas. So if you have both, you have a Yosem and a Yisayim that they need money. The farnas and the Yisayim, you give money to the girl first, and then afterwards you give the Yosem. Because a man can go knocking on doors. And an Isha does not, it's not her derech to go door to door. Right? Yeah, so that's the first thing. Yosem v'Yisayim on Tomei Beis. Now Yosem and the Yisayim.
If you walk into the shul and there's a man and a woman sitting there, you're supposed to give the woman first?
That's a shy. Well, I'm not so sure that you have to, because that she's already knocking on doors. We had this before. She's already knocking on doors. So she already showed that she doesn't care.
It's not a bigger busha for her?
But she's already mavuyish. I don't know. I thought we had that somewhere. Maybe in Tainus. I don't
Maybe
know.
She's desperate.
It could be, but once
in the white show, you have that every morning like that.
Well, stamaza, you have a din that you're supposed to give the guy first, because the guy does mitzvahs and does not say. I know that didn't sound good. I'm just saying it's meaning a man is, because he's doing more davening and learning and all that. There's more. You're getting more bang for your buck, right? Okay, but we'll have to see. Anyway,
Diaco, is there any chiyuv to like check these people out, or you just give them money?
Oh, so that's going to be either tonight's stuff at the end or tomorrow's stuff.
Meaning, is it better to just give them something?
At the way we're going, it'll be tomorrow's stuff.
Yeah, that's not so bad. We're only a half hour in, but
yeah, we did a lot yesterday.
We did half
We
of
went
it.
to the 2 dots.
Parrots, take another drink.
yeah. Yeah, but anyways. Yeah, so anyways, they should boldly not say that they came to get married. So Masina say Yasam, you marry off the Yasam first, Masina say Yasam, and then the Yasam. Why? It's more embarrassing for a woman to now that's what I'm not sure. What's the busha here? It's more embarrassing for there's more embarrassing for the woman than for the man. More embarrassing that she's not married, or more embarrassing that she's a Yisayma? Because once a Yisayma gets married, what's the problem? No, she's not a Yisayma. So is it the busha that she's not married?
Didn't we have this earlier?
No, that she has to get her trousseau from Besdin. It's not coming from her mother or father.
But that Mimana she's going to have to do regardless, right? Because she's a Yisayma.
So I'm saying that's a busha for her.
I'm saying, but that's going to be a busha for her regardless of whether she gets married before her brother or after her brother. I don't know. I thought it was more embarrassing for her not to be married, but now I'm not so sure. Not so sure. All right. Yeah. So anyway, so Tana Rabbanan. Okay, so whatever it is, but you get everything. The girl always goes first. It's fine.
Are this boy and girl? They twins? Does age make a difference? And Shulchan Aruch makes a difference. In a usual case, not by Yasim B'Yisayma. Which one gets married first?
Why would we think it's twins?
Well, if the brother's older, then usually he should go first. That's kibbutz. There's a mitzvah there. Why would we say she goes first? Because the bush is bigger.
What do you mean?
There's halacha involved in who gets married first in a normal case.
Yeah, okay.
Here is this, that's what I'm saying. Are they twins? Is this everything's equal, so she goes first. But if he's older,
you want to start with he's 21 and they're starting shidduchim and she's 18. I'm saying you want to start with the I don't know.
Or
But
any
you have a
case
different
where
kash.
he's older.
You have a
With the
different
right
kash.
to the Shulchan Aruch Paskin, he goes first.
Well, because he has a mitzvah pruruvu, she doesn't.
Even besides for that, she has to let him go first because of kibbutz.
Understood, but it seems like they're both in shidduchim at the same time. So that's
what I'm saying. They're essentially twins.
Navdafka, maybe one dated for a year.
They're the same parsha.
Yeah.
As far as this is concerned,
Yeah. So Tanavana, Yasim Shabbat Lisa. So a Yasim that comes to get married, you rent a house for him. Umatzi, this is a dangerous Gemara right here. You rent him a house, then you get him a bed and everything to the house. And then after you marry him off to a woman. You give him whatever he's missing, but that he needs. That's what he's missing is a house. When again another lashon of what he's missing is a bed and table. Loi zu isha, and then it says in isha, so therefore it has to go in that order. I'm going to make an ezer, a helper, opposite him. So this Gemara l'chayra sounds like a proof that you got to be finished college before you get married. No.
No.
First the step. No. Okay, I'm just saying. Sure, sounds like you have to have.
Where do you get that? Where do you get that?
He doesn't like that. Wait.
Chalk it up to another thing we don't follow. Chalk it up to another thing we don't follow.
First of all, you have to read in America from left to right. Okay.
Okay, listen. It says you have to give him a house. You give him a house. Before he could start shidduchim, you got to give him a house. You got to give him a bed. You have to give him everything. Now he's ready to date.
You have to give him enough to support him.
No. So nowadays, so you have to have a living. You have to earn a living before you can get married.
No, you have
I'm
to.
saying you have to earn a living.
The shver has to make sure that the.
That's not what we're talking about.
Does it say
we're talking
earn?
about Bezdin taking care of the assignment. It's very nice if you
And
get
this is the Bezdin, no?
Yes, this is Bezdin.
This is not
Yes.
the shver. This
The
is the
living
No,
Bezdin.
in
that's
unusual
that even
But
more
that
so
means-
family. Even more so family.
Bezdin
That means if he's not a
Yassim,
Yasim, if he's not a Yasim, this was a given.
Yassim has shelter and to get married.
No, so and nowadays, how do you get shelter to get married? You have to have a parnasa to get yourself an apartment. Not everybody's giving you an apartment.
But it doesn't say earn. It says they gave him.
That's because he's a Yasim.
So Yasim can't work.
What?
What I'm saying, what I'm saying,
Yasim is young. He could not. Maybe he could work. Maybe he couldn't work.
He's 18 to get married. No, so he can't work.
It could be. It could be yes. Could be no. But that's not the point.
why is it not the point?
Because normally the father gives you these things, right? You give the guy a house.
Really?
Yeah,
It's the
fine, give
father-
you, but now you're saying he has to earn it.
It's
not
the
earn.
father. Wait a minute. Time out. It's the father's achrais to give it. I thought we
Teach a
said
son
till
a
12.
parnasa. It's a mitzvah. For a father to teach a son a parnasa is a mitzvah.
That's-
This guy
yeah,
didn't
okay.
have that. He didn't have that. So he
All
doesn't
I'm
have a
saying is
parnasa.
that you have to be ready to get married. You don't just get married. Why don't we just marry him off and that's it, and they'll get him an apartment? No, he has to be prepared for the marriage first. Okay, I don't want to. We got more to do.
Well, I don't understand. You're
We're just
talking about
ha'ara.
the dunya that the shver has to give money.
That's all kashas anyway. That's a kasha on the Gemara either way.
What do you mean? The Gemara is doing it all along. The father shver has to kick in big time.
Good. So
It
then
says-
you still have a kasha on this Gemara. So you still have a kasha on this Gemara.
Okay, all right, good.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, Tana Rabbana, yeah. Day machsoire. So what does it mean? Day machsoire. Ata mitzuva alav lefarnasai. You are mitzuva to be mefarnasim. Be ata mitzuva alav laashroi, but you're not mitzuva to make him wealthy. I don't understand the havamina. A guy's poor, so you got to make sure his needs are taken care of. Fine, but you don't have to make him wealthy. Okay, it's pashut. Why do you have to make a poor guy wealthy?
Maybe it depends what kind of background he's from.
No, that's the next line. That's the next line. This line is before that. Asher yechsar lo yafilu sus lirkav elav ve'eved la'aretz lefanav. Even if he normally rides on a horse, and he has avadim that run in front of him, which means he's wealthy. Right, so then you still have to give it to him because that's what he's used to, and that is the way we paskin in Shulchan Aruch.
So that means a kid today, if he grew up in a house with cars, you have to give the guy a car.
Yes, not only a car. If he's used to a Rolls Royce, you got to give him a Rolls Royce. L'chayra, but that maybe is debatable. But yeah, pashtus, yeah, yes.
But down from Mishita Mekubetzis, that's the only issue when it becomes known to the general public, because then it doesn't matter.
So that the question is, do we paskin like that Shita Mekubetzis?
What's the Shita say?
Shita Mekubetzis says, Badei Shulchan brings it also in his Pirush and Shulchan Aruch, that the Shita Mekubetzis says that's all because you don't want the guy to be embarrassed. So if all of a sudden he's driving a Rolls Royce and now he loses all his money and you buy him a Toyota, so everybody's going to start asking, oh, what's with this guy? What's with this guy? Right? But so Kozma, nobody knows about it. You want to keep it hidden. But once it gets out there that he loses all his money, then the Shita Mekubetzis says, then there's no point. He's already Mevuyish. You might as well, then you just support him the way it is. Not everybody agrees that that's the pshat here, that it has to do with Busha. Some say that you'd have to give the guy in the lifestyle the way he's used to living, right?
L'chayra, there's a raya not like the Shita Mekubetzis from the next Maisa of Hillel.
Yes, I agree with you.
Imagine how embarrassing that would be. Hillel Azakin running as an Eved in front of you.
Right.
I don't know how this guy lived with himself.
Yeah, you got to assume that Hillel put on a mask or something. I don't know. Anyways, Amar about Hillel Azakin, they said on Hillel Azakin, Shalokach la'ani ben Tovim, he took an ani that's a son of good. We had that yesterday also. It means that he comes from good stock. Sus lirkav elav ve'eved la'aretz l'fanav. Pam achas lo imotza eved la'aretz l'fanav. One time he did not find an eved to run in front of him. V'ratz l'fanav shloisha milin, and he ran in front of him 3 mil. Right. So you see that Hillel himself ran in front of him. So clearly you have to support the person based on what he's used to having. All right. Fine. So now the Gemara brings a few ma'asim. There was a story with the Anshe of the Upper Galilee, as they call it. That they brought an ani who was from Chashuvim, from Tzipori, litra basar b'chol yom. They brought him a liter of basar every day. Now, a liter is a coin denomination, but it's just a weight. So they brought him that amount of weight. So Gemara says, litra basar ma'irabusa. What's the big deal? That's not so much meat, because you're just going with the coin, not how much the coin bought. Just the Gemara is thinking the weight of a coin. Let's say a nickel weighs a half an ounce. So you're saying that you got him a half ounce of meat, right? Even though a nickel can maybe buy a lot more than a half ounce of meat, but it was that. So the Gemara is saying, well, what's the big deal? A half ounce of meat. So litra basar mishal oifas. They brought him from a liter of basar of birds. Birds was much more expensive back then. So therefore, even that, they bought it for him, even though it was very expensive. But litra basar mamish means that they spent a litra of meat, mamish, on him. Not the weight of a litra, but the actual litra, that's how much they spent. Right? So you see that you have to spend a lot of money for the ani. You didn't just give the ani rice cakes and whatever. You had to give him proper food. Rav Ashi Yomar Hasam Kfar Katan was a small village. And every day they had to lose out on an animal because of his thing. Meaning, since he was used to eating that much meat, they had to shecht an animal every day for him. Now, what is everybody else doing with the animal? There was too much for the town. Meaning, the town was a small town, so a quarter of a cow would feed meat to the entire town every day. Right? So what are they doing with the rest of the meat? They lost it every day. He had to give. He needed to get meat every day. Right? So they had to shecht it, even though there was nothing for them to do with it. What?
Presumably, his parents did the same thing. Litra shel basar every day.
No, it sounds like he was not in his town.
Oh,
they brought him from Tzipori. So Yanachanami, that would be Mastama. That's a good diak. That's Mastama why they brought him from Tzipori. Otherwise, you would have your kasha. Either way, you had to mamish serve him this way. Imagine, just imagine going around collecting for people and say, hey, we got this kid who this guy lost all his money, but he ate in Doma 4 days a week. Can you please give us some money to give this guy something in Doma? I want you let me know how many people give money for this, right? Okay,
I'm going to say none.
I would agree with you. Yeah, fine. Also, give me
their names and addresses.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So Ahud also Kamed Rav Nechemia, Amar Lei, Bamea Atasayid. What do you normally eat? Amar Lei B'Basa Shamin V'Yayin Yashan. I eat old meat, fatty meat, and wine, Yayin Yashan, which is expensive. Ritzaincha Shetiskalgalimi Ba'adashim. Do you want to eat beans, meaning cholent? Right? You want your doma, I'm giving you cholent. Right? Gilgal Imay Ba'adashim Umay. So he ate the Adashim and he died. Amar, so Rav Nechemia said, Oiloi Lazeh Shahargu Nechemia. Woe is to this person, to this ani who got killed by who Nechemia killed. Right? Meaning he felt bad for the ani, but he wasn't taking any blame. According to this, he wasn't taking any blame. He says, this ani died. So Gemara says, he killed him, right? He fed him food that killed him. So it should be Nechemia should be the problem, because maybe he needs gullus. I don't know if he needs gullus, whatever it is, but it's certainly not a good situation, right? So Ella ihu no. The reason why Rav Nechemia didn't do anything wrong is because this guy made himself into a mafunik. I don't know. To me, this opens up a can of worms. Here you're saying to the guy, nobody said that you should make yourself such a mafunik that all you eat is old meat and old wine. You did it to yourself. Caviar. Yeah, or whatever you want to put in there. Meaning you made yourself like addicted, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word either.
No, you weren't raised in a house like that. You ran after your titles, and that's what you did.
Okay, but how do we know that? How do we know that?
I mean, that's the way I understood it. No, you don't.
Yes, no, you're right. That's the pshat. But how do we know that how do you know that the kid didn't get brought up on eating meat and old wine? So that's what he ate every day for supper, and then he can't eat beans.
I don't know. See, Yaakov, they bring down a marsha that says like that.
What?
That says a what?
That that he wasn't, the side of all this is that if you were raised like that, it's out of your hand. Meaning, if you're not raised like that, you start wanting to make yourself accustomed to that. That's you're on your own at that point. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's one thing if it was just that was your culture. That's the way you were brought up. But stop to go out of your way to need that stuff. That's you're causing your own downfall.
Yeah. It could be okay, but how do you know? That's what I'm saying. So what? So that means anytime anybody eats anything extra, he's causing his own downfall. So why do we ever tie on somebody who's
if he has to go ahead and then go ahead and and rely on the tzedaka, if he wants to go ahead and make himself accustomed to something because he has the money, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't understand it. But let's see some more stories. What are you eating? I'm eating on fat chicken and also old wine. Are you not chayshish for the duchka of the tzibur? Meaning you're becoming, how do you call this? What do we use? What's the lashon they use on people that use welfare? Dependent, not a whatever it is. You're making the tzibur spend a lot of money for your tzedaka.
On the dole? On the dole? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't know the lashon. So am I eating your food? I'm eating Hashem's food. The Tanina, because we learned and we say in Ashrei, right? Everybody looks to Hashem for food, and you give them their food be'itai, in His time. Be'itam, right? So it's achlam be'itai. One is plural, one is lashon yachid. Right? Be'itam loy nemar ela be'itai, in His time. Hashem gives everybody their parnasa in the right time, in the right place. It's meaning, so the guy's basically giving a Musar shvuz and saying, who says it's your money over my money? Hashem gives out, Hashem allots the food, and Hashem wanted you to pay for my expensive food. So Adahachi, Asoy Achse the Rava, the Loy Chazila, it's a Rebbe Shemaisi here from Rava. Adahachi, Asoy Achse the Rava, the Loy Chazila Tlesa Shani. All of a sudden, Rava's sister, who he didn't see for 13 years, shows up, and she came with a picnic. And she came with this tarnagolis, this fat tarnagolis and yain yoshan, which he obviously wasn't used to eating. Omar, he says, Maida Kama, what's this? It's too what do they call that thing?
Coincidental.
Pasher, what's it called? Hashkocha pratis, right? So Amrale, he says, Nanesi lecha, I answered you too much, meaning I should not have criticized the ani, and kum echol, you eat it, right? So Rava based on, it's interesting, right? Because Rava didn't have tainas on his raya from the pasuk. He didn't answer that. L'chari has the ani had a good taina on Rava from the pasuk. But this that his sister showed up, that was too much already. Then Rava agreed that he was incorrect. Okay.
Is part of this, the Rava was the Rava of Mechuzah. He was the Rava of the wealthiest town in Babel. And all this happened with that. He's saying, Duchka de Tzibura, all these wealthy people eating these fatty foods, and nevertheless, you're still Duchka de Tzibura.
Yeah.
And then this happened.
Maybe. Yeah, no, it could be.
It's also the song of the Daf. This is A.B. Rottenberg's, the Rebbe from Lublin.
Oh, that I don't know. But ain't
exactly this. The whole this Maisa.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So fine. So Tan Rabban, Ein Loi, Ve'enei Roitzel Isparnas. So now we go through a few different people whether they want to take tzedakah or they don't want. So first is Ein Loi, he doesn't have money, Ve'enei Roitzel Isparnas, but he doesn't want to take tzedakah. So Naistam Loi L'Shum Hava. First you give him the money, you tell him, don't worry about it, it's a loan. And then you go and give it to him matana. Right, that's the way you'll get him to take tzedakah. The opposite. Give it to him as a present, and then you go give it to him for ava. So Gemara says l'shum matana, but if you're going to do that, then he's not taking it. He said he's not taking a matana. So how you give him the matana then turn it into a loan? It means that you start with giving him a matana, and then if he says no, then you give him a loan. All right, so that's if a guy that doesn't want and he doesn't give. It's actually interesting, Shaila, and this comes up a lot. So you lend somebody money as a loan, then the guy can't pay you back. So you say, okay, keep it. Can you use it as Meiser money or not? Right? And if you want to use it as Meiser, you have to tell the guy, by the way, I'm Meichel the loan, but I'm taking it out of my Meiser account. Or does that not work at all?
Why do you have to tell him you're taking
What's the difference to him? Yeah, why do you have to tell him?
Because he has to know that he's taking tzedaka. He could be.
You're giving him tzedaka, no?
But he doesn't want to take tzedaka. He doesn't want to take tzedaka.
You told him to keep it. What do you mean?
Correct, but you wouldn't tell
him. He's clearly
to
not
keep
paying
it
you back.
You're not telling him to keep it unless you could take it from your Meiser.
What does that mean? What do you mean? Why? If I tell him to keep it, so he knows I'm giving it to him. What do you mean?
Yeah, but you wouldn't give it to him unless you could take it from Meiser.
He doesn't mind stealing from you, but to become a take from Meiser, that's not as good.
Not stealing. He just didn't have the money to pay back. He just stealing. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
So make it conditional. Say if you don't pay me by a certain date,
so if you make it right, so if you make it conditional from before the beginning of the loan, that's fine.
Even after the loan, I want my money by a certain date, and you're mechuyev after a certain date. If after 30 days you don't give me the money, I have a right to go ahead and take your nafas.
Right.
So then it's going to be considered nice. You don't have a choice at that point.
Yeah.
You go ahead and take my money.
Yeah. No, that would be also, but you have to tell it to him. That's what I'm saying. Okay,
why do I have to tell?
What's he gonna do?
Why do I have to tell it to him? I'm telling you, it's happened to me a couple of times. I lent somebody money, they didn't pay me back. So then, I have to tell the guy, I lend you a link, you didn't pay me back. I'm giving you stock. Yeah. You're nice for us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, won't that embarrass him?
What?
It's not. It might.
Won't that embarrass him to tell him you're taking it from Meiser?
Yes.
It might embarrass him. Yes, it might embarrass him. But
what? You have to embarrass the guy?
It could be.
The Gemara at the end of the block says not, no?
Well, that's different. That's giving him the say-so. Okay, whatever it is. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying you have to do that, but it's discussed in the post. I'm sorry. Let's say he has money, but he doesn't want to spend his money. Right? So then what? You give him as a present, and then you take it back from him. So Gemara says, if you're going to take it back from him, he's not going to take money anymore. So, which I don't understand. So he shouldn't take money. Right? Don't take money. He has the money. So I guess the only thing I could think is that sometimes you have a kranka mensch, and he also deserves money. Right? Maybe. It's a big shaila in the poskim. A guy puts money away and he has money in the bank for a house. You know what I mean? He made his chasana money and he saved some money and then he lost his job, right? But he wants to be able to buy a house. So he has $50,000 in the bank. But he comes to the bezdin, whoever, and he says, I need money to day-to-day expenses. So you say to him, do you have money in the bank? He says, yeah, but that's earmarked for a house to live in. It's really not pashut that it's pash. Many poskim can say he could collect tzedaka. And this comes up, Zev. We ain't going down this road.
I was about to say, Reb Zev, now you're in the hot seat.
Nah, we ain't going down this road.
I'm not in the hot seat, parents. You could collect the same way I could.
No, listen.
I'm asking, do you count somebody putting away money? Does that count towards their tuition when they ask
the tuition bill, the tuition, what's it called? What do you call it? The committee, tuition committee. It's not pashut that they can count money that a guy has in savings because he needs to buy a house. It's not pashut.
100%.
Anyways, okay, whatever.
100%. I can't count the Lexus in his driveway or his vacation away either. I can't.
We didn't say that.
I know. We never. What do you mean talking about? We're not. Who said that we're after people that have money to buy a house? Gesundheit.
That's not true. Okay, the tuition committees ask for every penny that's in the.
Every penny they want to know.
That's what he said 100% about. They count 100% of that money.
Okay, whatever it is.
Tzedaka, is this Gemara a riot? This whole Gemara from before a riot to the idea that maybe middle class deserves tzedaka also, especially based on the tuition committees.
Akiva, I was about to say that, Akiva. According to the basic dinim of tzedaka, almost everybody are considered aniyim and they can take tzedaka. That's the way it is. You have to have enough money in your bank for a year to live, and then many places can say that nowadays. You have to have enough money not to live. You have to have enough money.
Can people use this as a riot to the tuition committees then? That they don't
True
have money?
or against maybe.
Against, I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. And the place can really
in regards to Meiser also, no?
that you have to have enough money.
They didn't Tyra?
I don't know. That I don't know. But you have to have enough money in your bank that you can live off the interest. How many people do you know have that?
Could work for Meiser.
What does that
also,
look like?
Didn't you say for Meiser also?
Yeah. Whatever it is. Okay, these are all the sugis. I thought it's okay. Let's go by. It's very late. Amar Papa. So he said, La'achar Misa, after he dies, we're going to collect the money. I mean, this cheap guy, we support him from tzedakah, we're going to come to his estate after he's dead and say, hey, you got to pay it all back. Which is, by the way, I hate to keep bringing it up. It's my fault tonight, right? The schools all say now, if you take a tuition deduction, if you ever make money, we're taking it from you. You got to give us, you got to pay up your tuition, right? So l'chayra, the schools, if a guy is nifter with a big life insurance policy, the schools should go to the guy and say, hey, you got to pay up your tuitions, right? Okay.
Who says they don't?
Right.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't.
You're assuming they don't. I hear.
I don't know. Fine. Reb Shimon,
It's okay. They ask you how much your life insurance policy is, so they know.
That's true. Reb Shimon, yeah, yesh lev eine roitz l'sparnus. If he has and he doesn't want to be misfarnus himself, ein niskakala, you don't give him, right? He says like what we all would say. Ein lev eine roitz l'sparnus. If he doesn't have it, he doesn't want to be misfarnus. So I'm like habi mashkin b'tol. We tell him give us a mashkin, meaning so he thinks that we're taking the loan serious. We say, okay, give us your watch or something, and we'll lend you some money. So that his das will be calm or whatever it is, meaning he's going to think that we're actually lending him money, even though we're not going to even ever collect from the loan. Fine. So Tana Rabbanan, Aved means that if he doesn't have and he doesn't want to be mefarnes. First you give it as a loan, then you give it as a matana. Tavi tenu, lendim zes sheyesh leveinu right to l'sparnus. That's one who has it for himself, but he doesn't want to be mefarnes. Shanaisim like l'shum matana, v'chayzim matana menu lachar misa. We give it to him as a matana, and then we go take it back after he dies. Divrei Reb Yehuda. If he has money but he doesn't want to feed himself, we don't give it to him. So what do you do with the pasuk of Tavitenu? It's a Torah just talking, using a double lashon. But you really don't have to go feed a guy who's too cheap to feed himself. Fine. Mar Ukva. Now we have a few interesting stories. Let's just go to the two dots. It goes pretty fast. Mar Ukva. There was an ani. And in the town of Mar Ukva, so he would put in, Mar Ukva would put 4 zuz in the opening of the door. And he would sneak it on his way to shul or whatever it was. He would sneak this money into his door. So one day this guy said, let me go see who's doing this taiva to me every day that's giving me money. So that day, Mar Ukva was late to going to the Bismerish. So Asya de Visubade and his wife came with him. Right? His wife, for whatever reason, came with him. Right when the Ani saw that he was leaning the door to stick the money inside the door, Nofak Basra, ran after him to see who it is. So Rahut Mekhameh, they ran in front of him. So then he got Mar Ukva and his wife running from this Ani so that the Ani shouldn't see who's giving him the money. Asuna to have a group of Nura. They went into an oven. I don't know what kind of oven this is. They ran into an oven to hide that was just finished. The coals were just taken out. Havakam Makali and Kari the Mar Ukva, Mar Ukva's feet were being burned. His wife told him, "Shkol karech, oisva karech, take your feet and put it on my feet, because my feet are not burning." Right? So cholosh daite. So he had chalishes adas that his wife is more chashuv than him. His wife's feet are not burning, and his feet are burning. I don't understand this kasha at all. I mean, women have a much. What?
Shouldn't that make him happy?
Yeah, but that's true. It should make him happy. But his wife, but he's feeling a little.
No,
bad
he had
about himself.
chalishes adas that he was being punished.
That he was being punished, or that his wife was greater than him?
No, that he's being punished.
Doesn't that make me happy?
No, that he's being punished. His wife is being punished.
Yeah, but his wife's not being punished.
His wife's not being punished because she has more. Why am I being punished? That's
why you had chalishes adas. He's the one that gave the tzedaka every single day. His wife didn't.
So maybe I did something wrong.
Okay, whatever. So he had chalishes adas.
Okay.
Now I don't understand the whole question. Who has more tolerance of heat, men or women? Maybe you, Gershon. Those that cook here maybe I have zero tolerance for heat. Right? I can't go. These women take the frying pans and they take the pots of them with their bare hands and they're moving it around. A man goes anywhere close to it, they start screaming and yelling how hot it is. Right? So that's all. She had a higher tolerance for heat because she's the one doing the cooking. It's my balabata shakash on this Gemara. Okay, whatever.
I don't know if anyone has this kind of tolerance. They went into a burning oven.
The oven was cleared out. What good, but she's gonna have more tolerance than him. Okay, I don't mean the kasha seriously, but okay, whatever. Anyway, so he had chalishes adas. So Amrulay, so that the answer is very interesting. Amrulay, she said to him, I'm always in the house when the aniyim come to the house to collect. I'm there and I give them, like Rashi says, mazuman, right? But it doesn't mean mazuman cash, meaning she gives the aniyim a piece of cake, a drink. It's an instant mitzvah. Masha'en King, Mar Ukva was giving money. Now, money is a grama. They first have to take the money, then they have to do this, and they have to do that. Okay, fine. Umay kulei hai. And why do they have to do all this to run away from the ani? Damar marzuj bartovi amar Rav amri lo amar Rav Huna babizna amar Rav Shimon Chasidu amri lo amar Rav Yochanan Rav Shimon Yochai. It's better that a person should put himself into a fire. And don't embarrass your friend in public. Mitamar, as we know, famous thing, Mitamar from Tamar, he would say she was taken out. Meaning she would not say that Yehuda was the one that slept with her, right? And she was willing to go out to die till it was discovered, right? So the kasha, obviously, so if that's the case, so then there's not 3 cardinal sins as they call it, there's really 4. Shichas damim, gili arayas, avodah zara, and being mavayish somebody. Okay, that's a kasha from the first. Fine. Mar Ukva, another
this
story.
This is also the exact opposite mice of Hillel Hazakin before. What happened? Hillel Hazakin was prepared to run in front of him, and Mar Ukva ran away. It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, but I don't think that was tzedaka. That was just chashivas. That wasn't tzedaka. It's not tzedaka. That the guy should feel chasher. The guy should feel chasher. Saying if you have a guy comes to your door, the balabas could feed him. That's not called shnorarai. I don't think. Anyways, Mar Ukva have ani b'shemimusi. Mar Ukva there was a poor person in his town. He would send him 400 zuz every erev Yom Kippur. Now, which zuz are these? If it's the regular zuz, that's a whole lot of money, right? So Yom Echad Shadrinu Nahela Biyad Brei. His son, he sent the money with his son. Also, Amarle Loitzara, he came back. Mar Ukva's son came back and said he doesn't need money. Amar my chazis. So what do you see that you're saying that? Chazit the kamazalfi leyayin yashim. I saw that they're sprinkling old wine all over the house to make it smell good. Now, obviously, that's not something that somebody who's poor does. Amar mifna kula mefana kula hai. He's such a mafunik that's how much he needs. He gave him even more money. He sent him even more money. Oh, he's a bigger mafunik than I thought he was. When Mar Ukva was dying, and this is a common occurrence, Amar Aisali Chushbanet tzedaka. Go bring me my calculations to tzedaka. Ashkach dahavak sivbe, and he found that it was written in there, Shivas Alfei Dinrei Siyanki. He gave 7,000 Siyanki, which is an enormous amount. Omar, he says, Vadai clearly, my suitcase is light. And it's a long trip. I got to give a lot more tzedaka. Come, Bizbazay Lapal gave him money, he gave away half his money. So when this happens nowadays, so what do the Yarshim say? He was insane. And then they start with the court cases and da-da-da-da-da. But that's exactly what he did. So
but didn't we learn a week or two ago, you're not allowed to give so much?
Very good. And Usha, they made a takana, don't give more than a fifth. Well, answers that's only when he's alive. So maybe he's going to lose his money and then he's going to have to collect. But after death, there's nothing. There's no after death. There's no issue with that. So therefore, it's not a problem, right? So he can give away as much money as he wants. Okay, it's late enough. Okay, we'll have to continue. We'll have to continue this tomorrow. Be'ezus Hashem. All right. Fine. Okay, we didn't even touch on some of the tzedaka issues that come up, but yeah. All right. Fine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Zahir. No problem.
Oh, what time? Here tomorrow. This week is all the same time. 8:30.
Yeah. Thursday is going to be a little different time. Yeah, Thursday should be.
So what time is your flight?
Yeah, I'm landing at 4:00, so it should be okay. Regular time should be okay.
What time is the rest of the week? You said
8:30. We're going 8:30 from here on in, unless there's a vote to change it.
Oh, so wait, Thursday might be later, not earlier.
Not gonna be earlier. No.
Right. Okay.
What
I
did you want to
back
bring up
here
with,
at 8:15.
What did you want to bring up with tzedaka?
I'm already
on to the next one.
What do you want more of a beating, Reb Zev?
I don't consider this a beating. I consider people being ignorant. That's all.
You're tzaddik.
No, this whole sugya of what's considered an ani is a major sugya.
What does it look like to have a bank account which shows, money for the year or interest or either one?